Welcome to the Temple of Flame. On today, Faith Black Lights, we take a look at this. And what this is from Black Eyed Susan, it is the Death by Chocolate Hot. And I did the mild version of this because that was all I could find at the time. And I've been looking for this ever since, so for quite some time. I've been looking around trying to track this down again, because I thought there was a lot of very good potential in the other one. It needed heat. It needed heat. So this is the chocolate habanero pepper in here. And I don't recall if the other one used actual chocolate or not. We have vinegar, apples, carrots, peaches. We've got chocolate habanero mash. We've got molasses, garlic, kosher salt, cocoa. There it is. Spices and natural smoke flavor. And, oh, this is cool on the sword. I like that. That's neat. That's neat. So, I see this color and I instantly think mole. And smelling this, the other one, I thought the same thing. There is very little, if any, color difference between the two that I recall. It has been a little bit. But look at this. If this doesn't scream mole to you, you obviously have just not had enough moles. Very deep, rich brown tones. It looks lovely. I was so happy to finally come across this. And then naturally it sat, as pretty much every sauce I ever come across does, for this one was probably 2-3 months, I think, before I finally ran low enough on the other Mexican style sauces I had in there. Although I could have just as well opened this, because this is very much not a Mexican style sauce per se. And by that I mean that when I refer to those sauces, I refer to sort of ubiquitous, sort of catch-all, tacos, burritos, and pretty much anything in that sort of southwestern cuisine line. Moles are just a different story entirely, and they just don't have that kind of flexibility. But anyway, that all out aside, let's get on into it. It's just so delicious. You get the fruit, you get a little bit of the heat. It's not crazy hot. It is satisfying hot, though. You get what I'm guessing, I think it's probably cloves. You get some of that sweetness. It's just like every mole. It's just an outstanding composite of flavors. And they just did a wonderful job. This is so good. It's probably a little bit too hot to be comfortable to drink it as a beverage. But mole as a sauce, the people from Mexico I knew that would make stuff like that, and some were chefs, some weren't, all kind of had the same approach, which was that it's not meant for that, but you should be able to eat the mole by itself. This one, quite good by itself. But so I had this, I forget what I had it on initially. And tamales, maybe? I don't recall now. I've had it on a couple different Mexican style dishes, and it kept screaming at me the entire time for some carne asada. It said, "Boy, get your ass into some steak. What are you doing?" So we are going to get my ass into some steak. That's what we're doing. Hopefully. I don't know. So I hit the drive-thru for a place. It was a sort of beloved neighborhood place. And then it went out. As those types of places sometimes do. And tried to save it, just didn't happen. And I think the pandy might have been the thing that 86'd it. I don't eat any of their salsa. Anyway, eventually a new place came in. Similar type of thing. All right, so we've got here a sort of carne asada platter. So we got carne asada strips. We've got lettuce. We've got, it doesn't come with tortillas for whatever reason. We've got rice. We've got refries that are not staying very contained. So the whole kit and caboodle. See everything there? I wish it would have had tortillas, but it's kind of weird. Some things have just stopped being a thing. Like, you used to have the carne asada would come all chopped up, just like you were putting it in a burrito. I'm assuming they don't put it in a burrito all whole, but lately places have just been giving you the steak itself whole. And it's like, what are we doing here? Baseline for the rice. Rice isn't bad. All right. Baseline for the refries. We're going to try this on everything. Refries are a little plain. Yeah, I've definitely had better. Let's try all three here. Okay. And the carne asada. Definitely overcooked. Flavor is very, very basic for a carne asada. Okay, let's throw it on the rice and beans. And I'm thinking I don't want this with the lettuce, so let's move all of this over here. I don't know why there's a bed of lettuce here. Just give me the tortilla. I don't. I guess it's like everything else. You know, they're kind of cheaping out on stuff. It's too much trouble to cut the meat, so they don't do that anymore. I don't know. I'm not liking the trend even of, like, I used to live by a mocha salsa type place. And when it was first opened, it was just phenomenal. I ate there all the time. Maybe not every day, probably 2-3 good times a week. At least. You get a bunch of food for not a lot of money. All right, so the sweetness of this is somewhat of a sweet sauce, is honestly not working very well with the rice. Let's try it with the beans. The beans aren't very good by themselves. Yeah. All right. But we can have a tortilla, but we can have lots of cheap lettuce, so that's good, I guess. All right, let's try it on the carne asada. Which is really what I was trying to get to in the first place. But I thought, you know, we try to give everything a fair shake. I don't know how much tortillas would have been, but if I ever go there again, I definitely am going to shell out the $1 or whatever it takes to get them. Oh. Yeah, this is so good on red meat, on the steak. I am going to attempt it on carnitas at some point. I do want to I think it'd be really interesting on al pastor also. It's definitely excellent though on the carne asada. And I assume it's the death by chocolate from the pirate motif thing. It is definitely not that hot. Like right now I'm hovering between maybe a 1 and a 2. It's just that combination of flavors that's just so crazy. It is so wonderful. This is a brilliantly executed sauce. That is probably my favorite thing about it. On the back here, it's saying the chocolate hab is their favorite pepper. That's cool. Interesting choice. For habaneros, mine would have to be definitely the red. Red, in general, Savina or not. Yeah, the beans are not very good, but this rice, which is unusual, is really quite lovely. I mean, comparatively. It's a tad bland. And if I were going to make Mexican rice, which I have a number of times in the past, I like to pack mine full of flavor. It's a side dish. It's not meant to be here, but one of the nice things about the chocolate habaneros and the red ones is you get a lot of that tropical fruity vibe, but you don't necessarily get that heavy habanero flavor. You know, like maybe liking an orange habanero. All right, I'm swiftly approaching the point where it's just hard to It's hard to see the value in restaurants. The carne asada platters that came with what you saw there and would also come with a couple tortillas usually. Nice sized ones too. Big round ones. Would be under $10. This thing, I want to say it was like 15 or 16 in the drive-thru. And to be fair, it did come with a very watery beverage, but no tortillas and very minimal cheese. They used to come just covered with cheese on the refries. Very minimal cheese there. And the carne asada is just, by doing it this way, I think they really deprive it of a lot of the flavor. Now, moles are meant to have it cooked in the sauce, usually. So, and this isn't quite like a mole. It doesn't have that kind of depth of flavor. It is just a really fascinating. It's very spicy in that it has a lot of stuff going on in it. Like, to me, the closest thing to compare it to is a mole. And I will be definitely trying it on some tamales at some point as well, hopefully. If I can find some that aren't $1 bazillion. Like, see, that's the thing. I want to try this on mole. I want to try this on al pastor. I want to try this. Well, carnitas, carnitas I probably will make myself, actually. But, like, me trying to get a trompo and make al pastor is just, no. I'm not going to do that. And the same thing with tamales. Tamales, that's not a process that I find to be an enjoyable one. So I don't want to do that. And that's kind of the thing. Is like, okay, so am I going to bite the bullet for something that's overpriced, or am I just going to put myself through it? Like it comes into a question of what's your time worth, kind of a deal. In this case, I can do rice equally as well as that. I can do beans better than that. And I can do carne asada much better than that. So, but am I going to whip up a whole bunch of flank steak just for the sake of like a approximately 20-minute video? I mean, maybe that's what we're getting. I don't know. We'll see. I don't love cooking. I do enjoy it sometimes, but not most of the time, I wouldn't say. And that's just kind of what I run into. So for this, though, it is one of those very unique sauces unto itself. There is nothing else I can think out there quite like this. And if you like a lot of flavors and very intense ones at that, this is the ticket. I'm not even sure that I could reasonably call it a Mexican-style sauce. I think it reminded me so much of a mole. I can't get that out of my head. And if I have it outside of that setting, I just automatically start thinking how much better it would be if I had it on tamales or carnitas or whatever. So I don't know it's necessarily designed in that fashion, though. I mean, all these, you have some apples, carrots, and peaches. I don't know if that goes into mole, whether it does or not. It's just a wonderful blend. Like, it is, the whole is more than the sum of the parts. And it's a fantastic sauce. It is so well done. I can't say enough about how brilliant it is. And this is one of the few sauces that lived up to me being excited about it for literally years before I could get my hands on some. And I think that says quite a lot. So, in fact, we're just going to leave it right there. That was the Black Eyed Susan Death by Chocolate Hot Sauce. Now go forward in peace to serve the flame.